Hi, welcome back, and here we are for day 2 of the Diamine Inkvent Calendar Teal edition, and let's open this little window like that, and we have a purple ink. I like purple inks, although I don't use them much, but I like them. Here it is. It's always hard to take them out of the way, out of this plastic thing where they are very well fit inside. So here you have, it's called Energy, and I think purple inks always gives us an idea of energy, and it is a sheen ink, so no special things to see through the bottle. Let's see how it is, a purple with sheen. I guess it may be kind of exciting. So here it is, and stay there because I'll be right back for the swatch. Okay, let's make the swatch of the apparently beautiful violet ink. I like to put 3 drops. And then I close, let me go over the camera, just I have a cup with water there to put the pipettes in, and I like to cap the bottle first to avoid stupid accidents that may be common with me, like that. And I don't really mind if this dries a little bit because it will also show on the drops. Sometimes it shows different ways of it drying. It's hard for me to explain that, but you'll see how there's the remaining of the drop. I'll just put the knife here also in some water just to not let the ink dry on it, and let's take a look at it. It looks like a nice purple, although it looks a little bit, it's called Energy. I'm not criticizing it, I just don't feel it's that energetic. To me, it would need to be a little bit brighter. I'm just trying to make a different way of spreading this ink, like that. So maybe, because it looks like kind of a dusty purple, not like a very vivid, but maybe that energy part will be from this apparently greenish sheen that is now starting to appear. So we'll need to wait a little bit until we can see this ink in its full expression when it's dry. And so I'll be right back to show you the rest of the video and the final state of the swatch. I'll be right back. And here we are for the final part of the video. So we have here the ink bottle and the swatch. So for sheen ink, this one really has some sheen. We have the purple background, and then we have a very strong light green sheen. I really think this is nice, and I can see the sheen. I think you can understand that. We can see the sheen even if we don't tilt the page. So here it has a shiny surface, but if we do like that, you don't see the shiny surface, but you can see there is a green part to it. So this is our dried swatch, and what I did was to go, let me take this away, was to go back to my other inks that I have in my ink swatch collection, and I went to find some other violet, this kind of violet or this kind of purple ink colors. So what we have here is another Diamine ink, the Mumbodo's Hat, which is much darker. It has some kind of a greenish sheening there, but very small. And we have here also Diamine Violet, and this Diamine Violet is very similar to that color, although this one has much more shading. There is much more difference in the lighter and the darker areas. At least what we could compare was this lighter area with this one, and this darker one will be compared with the sheen ones. But you can see that this has more shading. Then we have also the Graf von Faber-Castell Violet Blue. I'll put it here because it's more similar than the previous ink I had here, the Diamine Mumbodo's Hat. And you may see that this ink is not exactly the same. This has more pink in it. I have also here the Colorverse Hayabusa, and this one is kind of similar to this color, I would say, but this one has a very strong yellow shimmer, so or golden shimmer. So they are clearly different inks. The most similar is the Diamine Violet if you are looking for a similar ink in regarding the tone or the color, not regarding the sheen. This one has a little bit of sheen, but it's very small, and it's not exactly the green one, it's more kind of a golden one. The next comparisons, I'll try not to make this part too long. I have here 4 inks from the Diamine Inkvent Calendar. I always like to show you different colors. We have from 2021, from the calendar of 2021, we have the Harmony, which is a dusty pinkish tone. We have from also 2021 this Festive Joy, which is a beautiful also purple, but not the same kind of purple as this one. It's more similar with Mumbodo's Hat than with this one. Then we have from 2019 or 2019 we have the Purple Bow, which is also a much darker color and more on this, also on this pinkish side like that one. And from also 2019 the ink number 10 Winter Miracle, which is a very interesting very interesting ink that has some sheen, which is kind of a goldish greenish sheen, but then you have the color, which is much darker but on a pinker side, and then it has blue shimmer. So this ink is not really very similar to anything else, except maybe with the Diamine Violet, but with green sheen. And so we go on to the next paper here, and we have the chromatography that I made. And what we have here is an ink that shows no water resistance because you don't see any baseline of ink. I drew a line here, and all the ink was washed away, and we have that kind of pinkish purple, then we have darker purple, and we have a blue fringe to it. So it's a very simple ink regarding the color, but the sheen really makes it different and more special. So for this ink, for the writing samples, I chose 2 pens as usual, 2 different pens. One pen is this one. This is it's hard to say if it is vintage or not. It is a pen from the 1970s as far as I know, and this is a Diplomat Pop 505A in lilac. I will leave the links below when I have the reviews for them, so you can go there and watch the videos or find some links to purchase if they are available. So this pen is an interesting pen with this kind of semi-hooded nib. It's really a very typical German school pen, I would say, from the 70s, and it will take proprietary Diplomat cartridges, not proprietary, but some kind of Diplomat cartridges that were also available for Gea pens, I think, but they are not no longer available, so they will fit perfectly the cross cartridges. So that's what I am here, an empty cross cartridge that I filled with a syringe. So this is it's a pen that posts perfectly, very nice. Really, I like this kind of pens. So this is one of the pens with an F nib, and the other pen is a Japanese pen, the Wancher Pochaco, which is a girthy small pen, those jumbo mini pens. It is a demonstrator model. You see the nib here, number 6 nib. It almost looks small because the pen is very fat, and then it takes cartridge inside. So this is and it takes, let me open this, it takes regular international cartridges. This one, for example, is a Kaweco cartridge there, and that I filled also with a syringe to have the ink for the samples. So let's go for the samples, and as usually we have 3 papers. We have the Moleskine paper, we have the Oxford Optic paper, and also we have some copy paper, Navigator brand, which is a Portuguese brand. So a Moleskine paper, which is not white, unlike the other two, it's kind of a cream color. You have these written, you can see the writing sample here. It's not very easy to see the sheen. You see a little bit of sheen on the Pochaco that has a wider line than the Diplomat, but you don't see that very easily. Not even here in the swatch. You just see some hints of it, and you don't really see the green. You just see a much darker color, and you see some hints of that sheen. This ink behaves very well. It doesn't feather. It is perfect. It has a very beautiful color with the Diplomat, but with the other one it looks much darker. I would say it is also a very good match for the Diplomat pen. On the other side, when I write with Diplomat, there is a little bit of see-through. When I use the Wancher Pochaco, you can really see some bleed through, which is not nice. Then we go for the Oxford Optic paper. Almost no see-through, except here, lightly but visible there with the Wancher Pochaco. It has a very heavy flow. When we look at the writing sample, you don't really see much sheen. You can see a hint of sheen with the Diplomat color, but you can see perfectly the sheen here with the Wancher Pochaco. Again, no feathering, anything. It behaves well, but with the wider pen it has a little see-through. And then we go to the Navigator paper, which is usually terrible for fountain pens. You can see there is some see-through and many spots of bleed-through with the Diplomat pop, but with the Wancher Pochaco there is a lot of bleed through, so not nice in this paper. Again, let's go for the sheen, and as usual you don't see any sheen on this paper. It looks much darker with the Pochaco, but you can see the color of the ink, not the sheen. Again, it behaves very well with no feathering. There is the see-through or the bleed through, but no real feathering. And finally, let's go for the final tests. We have here the Rhodia dot pad, which is the same paper where I made the swatch, but this one has squares, this one has dots. So we have here the number 2 energy. These lines were written with the Diplomat pop. I made a line and I dropped several drops of water, and after a while I just clean them with a paper, and you can see there is no water resistance at all, as we predicted by the chromatography. There is the color of the ink that stayed on the paper, but you don't really see much of the line that was written beneath the water. About the writing, the writing time, it's not bad at all because it is a sheen ink, but after 15, almost all, but after 20 seconds it is completely dry. So sheening inks sometimes dry a little slower. So let's just write with both pens, and let's go for the usual phrase: the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog with this pen. And again, let's go with the Wancher Pochaco. This one I post, and let's write the same phrase. It's keep there: the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And let's just take a look at it. You saw the color with Wancher Pochaco is a nice purple color, as you may see again here. And with the Pochaco it is a much darker. It's not completely dry yet. It takes a little bit more because the amount of ink is much bigger, and there is the sheen there. I'm not sure if you can see, but I perfectly can see some green sheen already with the writing of the Pochaco. So this was my review of ink number 2, Energy, and I'll be back tomorrow, I hope, for the number 3. So see you tomorrow. Bye.